Dolphins fans, welcome into Dolphins Today. I am Will Scott, breaking down the latest news and rumors surrounding your Miami Dolphins. But before we get into today's show, I need your help. Go down and like this video. We're competing here in the office at Chat Sports, trying to see what channel can get the most likes this month. Let's win this contest. Help me out and hit that like button right now. Let's get into our first story, and that's about Cedric Wilson. And, Ced, not a guy that we've talked enough about, I don't think, on this show. Someone who's very underrated in this Dolphins offense after signing a 3-year, $22 million contract with the Fins in March. He was named the Dolphins' best-kept secret by Bleacher Report, and I would have to agree. He's going to be big in the slot for Miami this year. Last season in Dallas took more than 90% of his snaps from the slot. Here's what Sports Illustrated said in this article about Cedric Wilson today, and they talked about how he can have a really big year under Mike McDaniel and Frank Smith in this Dolphins offense. They said a lot of those one-on-one mismatch opportunities likely will come from the slot, somewhere Wilson is very comfortable playing. He took more than 90% of his snaps from the slot last season. When quarterbacks are trying to get the ball out of their hand quickly, they typically target the slot. Now, Waddle and Hill have largely overshadowed Wilson this offseason, but Wilson knows there is an advantage to Waddle and Hill demanding the attention of opposing defenses all the time. Here's what Ced said. The defense is looking at them the whole time, so usually I get one-on-one opportunities. That's my job to win those. So Cedric Wilson, going to be the third wide receiver in this Dolphins offense, one of 5 new wide receivers that the Dolphins have gone out and gotten. They traded for Tyreek Hill. They signed Wilson, drafted Eric Ezukanma, who maybe is a guy that he can learn under in terms of learning under Cedric Wilson. And then they also signed River Craycraft and Trent Sherfield. However, those two maybe won't make the team. Here's what Wilson did last season in Dallas. Had by far the best season of his career. Over 600 yards, 6 touchdowns, 45 receptions for the Cowboys last season. And I mentioned that it was the best season of his career. Look what he did in his first 2 seasons in the league. Now, he was drafted out of Boise State in 2018, was placed on IR before the season, so didn't play. So his first season was in 2019. Didn't really have that big of a role in the Dallas offense. Had an increased role in 2020, and then this past season, he really broke out with 6 touchdowns and 45 receptions. And I think Ced is very underrated. You look at what he did in Dallas last season, was a massive weapon for Dak Prescott in the slot. Now you insert him into this Miami offense that's going to be all about yards after the catch. I think he fits this Dolphins offense really well. I expect him, even as the third option on this team, maybe even the fourth behind Mike Gesicki as well, to have a really explosive season for the Dolphins. He's going to be really big, I think, for Miami. Who do you think, though, is the most underrated player on the Dolphins? Is it Ced Wilson? Is it somebody else? Go down in the comments section and let me know. I think a lot of y'all are going to say Lynn Bowden Jr. We've heard a lot about him in the comments section. Next, let's get into kind of what to expect from the Dolphins running backs. This is a revamped running back room. Going to be a lot of fun to watch. Before we get into that, let's talk about another guy that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Jaylen Waddle. You can get your Jaylen Waddle jerseys at chatsports.com/Waddle. Love that throwback one there. Also have this aqua one as well. Again, chatsports.com/Waddle. I think producer Trace and I got to get matching Waddle jerseys for the watch parties we're going to be having here on Dolphins Today this season. Get your Waddle jersey. He's going to have a huge sophomore season for the Fins. Now talking about this running back situation. So last year, the Dolphins had one of the worst rushing offenses in the league. They finished 30th in the NFL in rushing yards per game, about 93 per game. Not good with Myles Gaskin as RB1. Now Myles Gaskin is RB4 after you signed Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, and Sony Michel in free agency. So what's wild, and I didn't think about this before today, but the Dolphins have on this roster 4 running backs with starting experience. All 4 of their top running backs have started in the NFL, including their 3 new running backs. Sony Michel, may I remind you, led the Super Bowl champ Rams in rushing yards during the regular season. Chase Edmonds was the Cardinals' primary back last season. And Raheem Mostert, we've seen him be an RB1 over in San Francisco. All 3 of these guys and Myles Gaskin have a lot of starting experience. Let's get into my predictions here. So here's what I predicted on my roster outlook show, which you can go back and watch here on Dolphins Today. But I think Chase Edmonds, Sony Michel, and Chase Edmonds, I should say, will make this roster, as well as Raheem Mostert. And then Myles Gaskin is going to be RB4, I think. And then Alec Ingold will be the fullback. Myles Gaskin, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets traded, but I still have him making the team right now. Zaquandre White, a lot of y'all big fans of him, the UDFA out of South Carolina. I think he's going to be on the practice squad, as well as Jared Dokes. And then Salvon Ahmed, I think, gets cut. Before we get into our next story, go down, hit the big red sub button. I got my boxing gloves on. I'm in a sub battle with my boy Tyler Jones and Seahawks today. Let's make the Summer of Jones the Bummer of Jones. Let's catch the Seahawks channel. Hit that big red sub button right now. Tyler's in the room, so I had to say that. Summer of Jones, we're having a lot of fun with that here at Chat Sports. Here is why the Dolphins' run game is going to improve, according to this ESPN article that was released yesterday. Number one is you hired Mike McDaniel, who had one of the best rushing offenses in the league last season in San Francisco. Second, you signed Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, and Sony Michel. They're all going to be huge. And then you improve the offensive line, signing Teron Armstead and Connor Williams. Here's what Sony said about the running back situation. He was kind of asked about, all the depth they have at this position. He said at minicamp, iron sharpens iron. I know these guys' skill sets. They're all great running backs. I think it benefits this team that we all compete our best and eventually will be at our best. The opportunities will come. You just have to take advantage of them. That coming from new Dolphins running back Sony Michel, who, of course, came home to play for the Dolphins, a American Heritage High School product. Now, will the Dolphins have a top 16 rushing offense in the NFL? They finished 30th last season. Are they going to jump up that many spots, be a top half rushing offense? Type Y for yes, type N for no, down in the comments section. They have to stay healthy, right? They have plenty of depth. That's the good thing. But they have to stay healthy. If they do, I expect Mike McDaniel to turn the Dolphins into a top-tier rushing offense. Let's close the show by talking about something that Peter King reported in his NBC Sports column yesterday. That is that the Dolphins might be playing in Spain or Brazil in the near future. Grab your passports, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what he said. I expect Dolphins owner Stephen Ross to push for a game in Brazil or Spain as early as 2024. Of course, the NFL in their international series interested in expanding to other countries. Here is where they are playing this year. The Dolphins not leaving the States this year. They're 1-4 in international games, at least in the London game. So, of course, they're going to play in London again. They're also going to Munich, Germany, and then they're going back to Mexico City. So those are the 3 countries that they're playing in this year. But Roger Goodell has said they're interested in playing in other countries as well in the near future. So would you rather play in Spain or Brazil? If you're a Dolphins fan, if you got a free plane ticket, a free game ticket, free hotel room, and you could go to one of those 2 countries to see the Dolphins play, where would you rather go? You type in S for Spain or you type in B for Brazil. Let me know down in the comments section. I think it's more likely that the Dolphins are going to play in Brazil. If the NFL is interested in having games in Rio de Janeiro, Miami will absolutely be selected because Miami is the only team in the entire league with a marketing office in Brazil. The NFL has all these different offices around the country. Miami, however, the only one in Brazil, which means the Dolphins are Brazil's favorite team. They have a huge fan base in Brazil. Dolphins Brazil has its own Twitter page with a big following. In fact, the Dolphins actually announced their 4th round pick in the 2022 NFL draft from the Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio. Felipe Luiz, a Brazilian soccer player, announced the selection of Eric Ezukanma out of Texas Tech in the 4th round. So that's a big reason that the Dolphins have a fan base in Brazil. But not only are the Miami Dolphins well represented in Brazil, so are actual Dolphins. I had no idea that you had Amazon River Dolphins over there in Brazil, and they're pink Dolphins. Unbelievable. You know, all of y'all are saying that the Dolphins should have a new logo. Maybe the pink dolphin the way to go about it. So the more you know, here on Dolphins Today, we're not just giving you Dolphins news and rumors. We're giving you Dolphins here on Dolphins Today. Now, are you watching this show from Brazil? Let me know down in the comments section. It's my understanding that the Fins have a huge global fan base. I want to know if you're watching from Brazil. Go down, let me know in the comments. If you do, I'll give you a shout out on a future show. Appreciate you guys watching Dolphins Today. This has been Will Scott. As always, go Fins.